Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now it is decision time for Bitcoin holders because we are currently testing this extremely important level. So this is very important for all Bitcoin holders to pay attention to, and that is not all. Later in this video, I'll be going over some fundamental Bitcoin charts, which are right now revealing that a potential supply shock is about to play out, which would absolutely skyrocket the Bitcoin price. So definitely make sure you're watching this video all the way to the end so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, make sure to leave a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the 4-hour time frame. And just quickly recapping this bullish divergence that I covered over the past 2 days on the channel. In fact, I'll let you know right here that because of this pattern, it's very likely Bitcoin is going to have reduced selling pressure in the short term, which will come in the form of either a sideways consolidation or a slight bounce back to the upside, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. And staying on the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, but taking a look at this chart just here, this part of the video is only going to be a quick follow-up from yesterday's Bitcoin update video. So for any of the new viewers out there, after you finish watching this video, I definitely recommend you checking out my last Bitcoin update video that I posted yesterday on the channel. But anyway, what we have here on the 4-hour chart is, of course, Bitcoin is trading below this important range of previous support, which has now technically been flipped into resistance, and we are forming a potential descending triangle pattern, which technically speaking is a bearish pattern. So from those two things alone, without any other context, you might be thinking that that is very bearish for Bitcoin and that we're potentially about to begin another move to the downside. But with that being said, if you're zooming out and taking a look at the September correction, we saw this exact same thing play out at the end of September, just as Bitcoin was bottoming out for that correction and getting ready for another major move back to the upside. And by the way, both of these green boxes just here are determined by the 38.2% Fibonacci level, as you can see just here, and bringing out the fibs this time around. As you can see, we've got the 38.2% Fibonacci level at both of these exact green price ranges just here, which provided Bitcoin support for quite a while before we dipped below that range and then formed a descending triangle pattern exactly like what we're seeing right now. And looking at this moving average, this is the 130 exponential moving average on the 4-hour chart. And as you can see, at the end of September, this moving average came straight down towards this green price range, the 38.2% Fibonacci level, which by the way, in the previous uptrend, this was acting as major support just like it was recently. But then obviously during the September correction, we were holding below that moving average. But at this exact moment right here, as the RSI was trending to the upside on the 4-hour chart, and as we were breaking out to the upside out of this descending triangle pattern out of the price range right here and above that moving average all at once, that was a very strong bullish signal showing us that the Bitcoin bottom was in and that we are getting ready for the next major move to the upside. So taking all of that data into consideration, once again, we are looking extremely similar right now to where we were back in September. So if Bitcoin can simply have a breakout to the upside out of the descending triangle pattern and also above this price range just here and also above that moving average, which are all in pretty close proximity, but really the top of this price range that we need to break above, which is also where this 130 EMA is coming in at, that is coming in at around $60,000 US. And what's great to see here is the fact that the RSI is trending to the upside on the 4-hour chart, just as we were at the end of September back here. So all we're waiting on now is simply a major breakout above 60,000. Of course, that is not guaranteed, but if we do see that breakout above 60,000, then that could possibly provide us a very strong bullish signal that would mean Bitcoin is getting ready for its next major move to the upside. And that short-term technical analysis falls in line with the 2-day time frame, as you can see here. In the 2-day RSI for Bitcoin, we have consistently found support along this upwards trending line of support, right now coming in at around 46 approximately. So obviously this is a bullish thing for Bitcoin if of course we can hold above that level. And I got a couple questions in the comment section yesterday asking me about the 2-day MACD, because we did see a bearish cross in the 2-day MACD. But looking at how long ago that bearish cross happened in the 2-day MACD, that was around 2 weeks ago, as you can see. And now going back to the last bearish cross, the one that happened during September, and measuring 2 weeks out from the point of the bearish cross, that brought us right here, as you can see, placing a vertical line right there. And looking in the price action, that was at the exact moment that Bitcoin was bottoming out for the correction, as we were running into this major support line, and also the RSI was running into this major line of support at that exact level, exactly 2 weeks after we saw the bearish cross in the 2-day MACD. So once again, we're simply seeing the exact same things play out right now. Now jumping into some Bitcoin fundamental analysis, also known as on-chain analysis. Honestly, these charts are really important for all Bitcoin holders to stay updated on, which is why I'm covering them in this video. And you'll notice that I've hidden my face cam for this section just so you can see all of this price action right here on the chart. But anyway, jumping straight into it, first of all, the black line on this chart just here here is simply the Bitcoin price on the daily time frame, and the purple line right here is the Bitcoin balance on all exchanges. So if the purple line is increasing, we are seeing an increase in deposits onto exchanges, which usually means there is more Bitcoin available on exchanges to be sold on exchanges. So basically what you need to know is an increase in the Bitcoin on exchanges is not really a good thing. Technically, it can be more of a bearish thing for Bitcoin. And you'll notice here that that was a leading indicator back in April and May this year, even before we saw the crash during May, because pretty much ever since we topped out at the previous all-time high at 65,000 during the middle of April, at that stage right there, the Bitcoin balance on exchanges stopped heading to the downside. We started bottoming out and we started a new uptrend in this purple line just here. And once again, that started in around the middle of April and led all the way up until the crash and continued to the upside leading into the crash. And keep in mind that crash happened during around the middle of May. So this gave us almost a month notice before the crash even happened. And then you'll notice that the moments the Bitcoin balance on exchanges started heading sideways again, and in fact started heading to the downside, that was when the Bitcoin price was just about bottoming out at that stage. And then we had one more flush out of panic sellers during July before we entered that major move to the upside as the Bitcoin started rapidly getting withdrawn from exchanges. And so when this purple line is trending to the downside like what it is right now, that is basically the exact opposite to what we were looking at during April and May. So this here is an incredibly bullish thing because this means there's less Bitcoin to go around, which means it's going to become harder and harder to purchase Bitcoin because there's simply not enough Bitcoin available on exchanges for purchase. So this can potentially lead into a supply shock for Bitcoin, which means people that are wanting to buy into Bitcoin will be forced to increase their bids because usually a lot of Bitcoin only starts coming back onto exchanges when we're at extremely high values, because at those points, the majority of the market, or at least the market participants with a lot of Bitcoin, are willing to sell at those prices, but right now they are simply not. So once again, this is an extremely bullish signal for all Bitcoin holders moving into the next few months. But I want to make it clear that this does not tell us what's going to happen each and every day, because of course we can experience volatility in both directions every single day. This just gives us an inside look of the general direction of the trends that we are going in, and that trend on the bigger picture here is clearly to the upside. And the recent correction that we've experienced this month has not changed this one bit. Now jumping into this Bitcoin fundamental chart, this is the Bitcoin all exchanges stablecoin ratio. So once again, the black line just here is the Bitcoin price on the daily time frame, but the purple line is the total amount of Bitcoin reserves on exchanges divided by the total amount of stablecoins on exchanges. So if this purple line just here is at these really high values, that means there's a lot of Bitcoin on exchanges compared to stablecoins, which means that there's a lot of potential Bitcoin that could be sold onto the market, while at the same time, there's not a lot of stablecoins on exchanges that are wanting to buy Bitcoin. So when this purple line is at these high values, that is when the potential selling pressure is at its highest level. And then as this purple line moves to the downside, this can almost be represented by Bitcoin moving into stablecoins, because as this is moving to the downside, it means there's less and less Bitcoin on exchanges and more stablecoins coming onto exchanges buying up that Bitcoin. So at these lowest values in this purple line just here, that is when the potential buying pressure, the built up buying pressure, is at its greatest level. Because remember, at these low values, there's not a lot of Bitcoin on exchanges, but there's a lot of stablecoins on exchanges ready to buy Bitcoin. And so essentially when this purple line is moving to the downside, that technically speaking is a bit of a bearish thing, because as we are trending to the downside in this purple line, that is representing this built up selling pressure finally releasing in the market, compared to when this purple line is trending to the upside, the built up buying pressure is releasing into the market. And obviously since July, the Bitcoin price has had an incredible gain since then. But looking in this Bitcoin supply to stablecoin supply ratio, the majority of this potential buying pressure back here still hasn't even been released into the market. Of course, it has been slowly released into the market, but we're currently at levels nowhere near where we were back towards the beginning of this year, which means that the Bitcoin price has a long way to go to the upside, because we've still got a lot of built up buying pressure that hasn't been released into the market just yet. But as the current trend suggests, this buying pressure will continue to be released into the market over the next few months for Bitcoin, which makes me incredibly bullish over the next few months. And so this is just another fundamental fact that shows us that Bitcoin right now is not in the same situation as where we were back here during around April and May. And before wrapping up this video, I'll give you a quick update on the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, because right now we are clearly sitting in fear, which historically speaking, when this indicator is sitting towards fear, and especially towards extreme fear, those are usually the best times to be accumulating Bitcoin. Of course, that's not financial advice. That's just telling you what this indicator means. And so with all of that in mind, personally, I am dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin at the current values. And if Bitcoin does end up performing another leg to the downside, then I'll still be able to take advantage of that opportunity opportunity because once again, I'm only dollar cost averaging into the markets. I'm not going all in at one go. And if you want to get extra real-time updates on the crypto markets throughout the day, make sure you're following me over on my Twitter, and the link to my official Twitter account is in the description down below and also in the pinned comment for all of this extra free information. And if you enjoyed this video or got something valuable out of it, please make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. And before clicking off, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads if you haven't already, because these videos can potentially help you make more money in the crypto markets. But anyway, that is really everything I've to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.